Hi friends, today I want to discuss about how solar cell works and how solar cell make. So many videos are available in YouTube also. The basic fundamental operation process of solar cell work as well as solar cell manufacturing process. Now I am trying to explain about all basic information of solar cell working process and deep manufacturing process of solar cell. The first of all, I want to explain some fundamental basics for the easily understanding purpose. First of all, what is solar cell? How it works? Solar cells are devices which convert light energy or optical energy directly into electricity by the mechanism known as photovoltaic effect. When sunlight will reflecting on the solar panel, it will be converting into the light energy into electrical energy. That mechanism is known as photovoltaic effect. The PV effect, emergence of an electric voltage between two electrodes attached to a solid or liquid system upon shining light into this system. Practically, PV devices incorporate a PN junction in a semiconductor across which photovoltage is developed, simply called solar cell is an extrinsic semiconductor. Simply we are called solar cell is an extrinsic semiconductor. Why we are calling extrinsic semiconductor means we are using semiconductor p-type and n-type doping. Doping means adding the impurities to the pure semiconductor. It's known as extrinsic. Here you are observed this solar cell working principle image. Here have p-type silicon and n-type silicon. That middle yellow layer is depletion region. This is the basic principle operation figure of solar cell. In the conversion of light energy into electrical energy, so many mechanisms are going under process. That's why I am explaining some fundamental topics. The first one is atom. Fundamental basics of atom. The atom is the smallest particle to which an element can be reduced while still keeping the properties of that element. An atom consists of a positively charged nucleus surrounded by negatively charged electrons, so that the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. What here saying means, you observed in atom structure figure, one nucleus is have two particles. One is proton having positive charge polarity. Neutron is nothing have any polarity. It will be consisting into the nucleus. Surrounding the nucleus, electron will be there. Electron have negative polarity. The nucleus is composed of two kinds of subatomic particles, proton and neutrons. The electron is the fundamental negative charge of electricity and revolves surrounding the nucleus or center of the atom in concentric orbits or shells. Every time electron will be attracted to the nucleus, the proton and electron having some attraction force. The next fundamental basic is electrostatic force. One of the mysterious of the atom is that the electron and the nucleus attract each other. The attraction is called electrostatic force. What in previous slide I explained, that force is called as a electrostatic force. Without this electrostatic force, the electron which is traveling at high speed could not stay in its orbit. The electron has a negative charge and the nucleus due to the proton have a positive charge. Here electron is surrounding to the nucleus. These lines will be called as a electrostatic force or electrostatic lines of force. This mechanism happening in solar cell. Exactly. The next fundamental topic is the electrostatic force will be creating based on the electrostatic fields only. A special force is acting between the charged objects discussed above already. Forces of this type are the result of an electrostatic field that exists around each charged particles or object. This electrostatic field and the force it creates can be illustrated with lines called lines of force. Here you observed same polarities are repulsing. The reverse polarities are attracting to each other. Same thing is happening into solar cell also. That's why we are taking one n-type doped silicon wafer. Another side is p-type doped silicon wafer. The next one is basic topic is semiconductors. The materials that are neither conductor nor insulator with energy band gap of about 1 electrovolt are called semiconductors. Here observe the semiconductor. We have clear picture. The energy band gap. Insulator have more band gap. Conductor have nothing here, not at all. The band gap is not here. The semiconductor have in between of insulator and conductor. The most common materials commercially used as semiconductors are germanium and silicon. Because of their property to withstand high temperature, that means there will be no significant change in energy gap with changing temperature. Most of the manufacturing companies, semiconductor manufacturing companies are using germanium and silicons. These are much more available on the earth. That's why we are consuming silicon and germanium. So many reasons are there in behind of it. The insulator not flowing any electron in from the insulators. Conductors are having less resistance. That's why electrons are flowing easily. All of aware conductors example is metal. The insulators are wood, rubber, like that. Semiconductors are two types: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor means it have own property of semiconductor. The original natural semiconductor is called intrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor means with adding some impurities to that material, it is known as extrinsic semiconductor. Again, extrinsic semiconductor dividing into two parts: p-type extrinsic semiconductor and n-type extrinsic semiconductor. These will produced with the help of one process that is known as doping process. The next slide will be doping process. The doping process in the manufacturing of solar cell is to form a p-n junction by the injection of impurity materials into a silicon wafer. In the solar cell manufacturing process, we are using doping process. Why we need to use doping process means we want to form a p-n junction. That's why we are using doping process. We are taken one side of boron, another side is phosphorus. These both are creating a p-n junction. Observe the electron configuration of boron. Boron have 3 electrons. Silicon have 4 electrons in final orbit. The phosphorus have 5 electrons. It means silicon have, with the respect of atomic number, the orbitals are full-fledged filled. In the boron need 1 electron. phosphorus have one extra electron. Here in this picture, p-type silicon boron doped. P-type silicon boron doped. Here, this area, it means this wafer want one electron for forming a p-n junction. That's why another side doping with the n-type silicon phosphorus doped. Here we are using phosphorus, that's why we are here having one extra electron. This will in that p-type silicon wafer and n-type silicon wafer having a combination of electrons with forming a p-n junction. Why? Because in the p-type, holes are majority carriers, the n-type electrons are majority carriers. These two will be purely creating a p-n junction. What is the p-n junction? The formation of a p-n junction, the joining n-type material with p-type material causes excess electron in the n-type material to diffuse to the p-type side and excess hole from the p-type material to diffuse to the n-type side. It means the previous slide also explained same process. The p-n junction forming one p-type semiconductor, here having majority carriers holes. One side is doping with phosphorus, that's why we are getting n-type. Here electrons are majority carriers. These both are when sunlight will be reflecting on the solar cell, this region and this region will be exchanging the electrons in a particular process that will be creating a depletion region. This with the help of depletion region, p-n junction will be produced. Okay, a voltage results from the electric field formed at the junction. The previous last third slide, we are already discussed electric field term. Okay, in the p-n junction, electric current flowing like as a diode. Like as a diode means in one direction only, that is forward, or it is a forward direction. The same solar cell having this total fundamental basic concepts in that when sunlight reflecting on the solar cell, electrostatic force and atom theory, then electrostatic fields, then and doping process and exchanging semiconductor doping process. Now next one is forming a p-n junction. These total theory will be having exactly in solar working principle. This is the total lecture of how solar cell is work. The next one is how solar cell make. Here we have so many steps of or stages of solar manufacturing process. The first process is growing ingots. Next one is ingots into bricks. The next process is wafer slicing. Another one is texturization or texturing process. The fifth one is diffusion or doping process. Sixth one is edge isolation process. Seventh one is AR coating process. Eighth one is screen print for front side. The ninth stage is screen print for rear side, aluminum and silver paste. The 10th stage is firing. The final stage is testing. Then 12th stage is manufactured PV cell. The solar cell manufacturing process flow. This is an animated process flow. Previously I explained each stepwise. The next slide is the first manufacturing step, growing ingots. These ingots are preparing with the silicon only. The ingot growth for multicrystalline silicon is quite simple. Melt the silicon in a large crucible and let it cool slowly to form a large crystal. The specific of furnace design allows ingot to cool slowly so that very large grains are formed. Tub used for growing silicon. Here you see this is a tub, this is a furnace. In that silicon raw material will be loading, and then heating the up to 1538 degrees. After the melting point is 1415 degrees Celsius. After the melting process, slowly when that material will be cool, this image like ingot will be came. The next manufacturing process is ingot into bricks. Already done ingots from silicon. After completion of the ingots formation, fixing the size for the particular size of brick, then cutting into the bricks. Here this image will be clearly tells you cutting of bricks. Then bricks will be like this. We are showing these bricks for the monocrystalline solar cell purpose. The next manufacturing stage is wafer slicing. Slicing of the bricks into wafer is a delicate process or operation. The modern solar cell factories use wire saws rather than the internal diameter blade. Here using internal diameter blade, we want to bricks in the form of wafers. The small amount thickness. It means nowadays we are solar manufacturing companies are using 200 microns plus or minus 20 of the tolerance of the solar cell thickness. In that size only cutting to the wafers. Okay, this is only simply when bricks will be came into the manufacturing line, that bricks will be converting into the cell wafers. Only here happening cutting process only. The next process is texturing or texturization. Cutting silicon into wafers leaves the surface covered with cutting slurry, and the surface is damaged due to the action of saw. That's why wafers are cleaned in a hard solution of sodium hydroxide that removes the surface contamination and the first 10 micrometer of the damaged silicon. That's why we are using sodium hydroxide. This will be removes the surface of contamination, the 10 microns. The wafers are then textured in a more dilute solution of sodium hydroxide with isopropanol. The protective blind rolls back and the wafers are removed from the texturing bath. These all words will be explained in the clear in the image. These three images are dipping into the hydroxide with isopropanol liquid. The wafers are put through several resin cycles and an acid rinse to neutralize the sodium hydroxide. After this process, the wafers are loaded into the centrifuge for a final rinse and spin dry purpose. Why we need solar cell texturization means texturization is growing the area of solar cell on the surface. That's why we need texturization process for solar cell. The next step is doping or diffusion. Already in the solar working process, this topic already discussed in previously. Diffusion process. The emitter diffusion process is performed in a variety of waves. In this case, a phosphorus containing coating is applied to the surface and boron also. The wafers are then put into a belt furnace to diffuse a small amount of phosphorus into the silicon surface. After the diffusion process, the wafers are loaded back into the cassettes for a acid etch to remove the diffusion glass. Here, first of all, phosphorus and boron diffusion process is when completed. The solar cells is loading into the cassettes. Then these cassettes into loading into the for the removing removing diffusion glass. After diffusion process completed, the next process is edge isolation process. The edge isolation process removes the phosphorus diffusion around the edge of the solar cell. That's why we are using the edge isolation system. Why? Because the solar cell edges we have phosphorus particles on the solar cell edges. That's why we want to remove edge part. That's why we are conducting the edge isolation process. A common way to achieve this is to stack wafers top of each other. Then in this image, like solar cell are arranging same like this only, loading the plasma etching system and etching the wafers in plasma etching process using carbon tetrafluoromethane and oxygen. This is the edge isolation process. The next process is anti-reflection coating. Why we need anti-reflection coating for solar cells means it will be decrease the reflection and increase the absorption of light into the inside the cell. That's why we are using anti-reflection coating. Here mostly solar cells have blue color, thick blue or light blue. Why we need blue color means the light absorption is capability is more for only light blue and thick blue colors only. An anti-reflection of silicon nitrate is typically deposited using chemical vapor deposition process. The gases of saline and ammonia. These two chemical content are using for the getting blue color of solar cell for the anti-reflection coating purpose. The wafers being deposited with silicon nitrate anti-reflection coating giving a blue color. This is the anti-reflection coating process. After when completed the anti-reflection coating, all cells comes into the output of the anti-reflection coating machine, LPCVD and PECVD process. Output cell will be collected like this only. The next process is screen printing front side. The silver paste is forced through a patterned screen. Those areas with gaps in the pattern leaves a metal pattern on the surface. We want on the cell's fingers and bus bars. That's why we are using screen printing process for a solar front side and back side. Same like this here showing clearly screen printing process. After printing, the paste is still wet and is easily smudged. That's why here the wafers are loaded into dryer to evaporate of the organic binders in the paste. Dryers operate a low temperature of around 200 degrees Celsius. After the wafers are dried, they are loaded into back onto the conveyor belt to continue their movement in through the production line. After the completion of solar printing process, some wet content is on the having solar cell. That's why we are again heating the solar cells at the around 200 degrees Celsius. After this process completion, the gripper will be moving to the production line. All cells zooming in on a cell after the front screen print is finished. At this stage, the silver still exists as a powder resting on the cell. After this process also, solar cell surface having some powder. This powder will be totally gone in a firing process. A later firing process at high temperature bonds the silver to the silicon. After the front side screen printing, then the ninth step is screen printing rear side Al and silver. The back side only the aluminium and silver paste will be attaching in this stage. The rear is printed in two parts. A thick layer of aluminium paste covers Most of the solar cell have and provides a back surface field BSF. Silver strips are also printed on the cell for later soldering to the interconnect metal tabs. Those are backside, we call bus bars for soldering the interconnected purpose. Printing to that's why here print that bus bars for solderability purpose. After the front side is completed, the cells are flipped over to print on back side. The printing the aluminum paste on the rear side, the cell is just visible through the screen as it moves through the line. The aluminum printing is an expensive step since it is very thick and covers almost the whole cell. Here only thickness will be high. Drying the aluminum paste, careful handling essential since aluminum is a p-type dopant and any paste smudges that get on the front of the cell will be shed the cell completely. Here what happen, this process is this step very careful process. Why? Because have a chance cell got shed. Why? Because here aluminum having a p-type dopant. That's why this is a careful process. The next step is screen printing rear side with silver. The previous is aluminum, this one is silver. Transferring wafers to the final screen printer. Such automated transfer machinery greatly improves a factor almost as important as efficiency in a commercial process. After the completion of AL and silver paste on solar cell, then unloading the final dry process. The next manufacturing stage is firing. After the completion of both sides screen printing of cell, after completion of screen printing, drying the cell or moving into the firing chamber for some time. Unloading the cells when cell temperatures become normal. While unloading, cell gripper keeps all cells in order. Then cells are filling into the boxes. This is the firing stage. The next one is testing. In the testing process, so many electrical parameters are generated from the cell tester, that is called IV curve. These electrical parameters are much useful to the solar module manufacturers. These parameters reflects on the module performance like as LID, light induced degradation, and PID, potential induced degradation, module power losses, and fill factor, and other factors. After the cells are tested, they are sorted into current binning wise. These images will be shows clear picture of binning system. The next slide is, up to this solar cell manufacturing process is completed. This is a IV curve and important parameters of solar cell, electrical parameters and thermal parameters and mechanical parameters. I want to explain on this total parameters in next video. In that video, I will explain clearly and deeply for each parameter. The next overview of multicrystalline solar cell. This is a front view, this is a rear view. These horizontal lines are grid lines, vertical lines are called bus bars. Then next cell overview is multicrystalline solar cell. Same as like previous slide. Front side, this is rear side view. This is the total deep explanation of how solar cell work and how solar cell making process. I hope fully covered these topics. Please subscribe Solar Light channel. Thanks for watching. My next video is IV curve and important parameters of the solar cell. Thank you for your attention.